Couples, don't not be sexually active. It's the same command, just flipped around to make sure we don't miss it. Look at the text. Do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent for a time that you may devote yourself to prayer. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. In other words, if you are depriving your spouse of normal sexual marital relations, you are in sin and need to repent. And the reason that Paul gives is because if you use sex as a negotiating chip or a way to manipulate and control, you're unnecessarily making your spouse uniquely vulnerable to the attacks of Satan, and that is on you. Yes, they're held responsible for their decisions and actions, and you are held responsible for if you make them more vulnerable in how they can defend themselves against the enemy's attack, which is how the wife and husband serve each other, in that they ensure that the bucket is full and the needs are being met to fortify them in the face of Satan's attacks. Ladies, when you withhold sex because you think he doesn't deserve it, you have just massively complicated the problem. You invite dysfunction, and you invite spiritual warfare, and you invite division, and you invite discord into your marriage when you turn sex off. Nothing kills a marriage quicker. You say, well, we're in a fight right now, so I don't feel like it. Let me give you a marriage hack. And you understand, I'm not saying if a husband's abusive and in sin, you got to roll over. That's not what I'm saying. Don't twist the words. Let's not work with the caveats and exceptions. Let's work to the standard of what God is saying. Inside a Christian marriage, where both are filled with the Spirit and endeavoring to serve the other, if one says, I'm going to wield this as a chip to abuse or manipulate or control, that is sin. And here's what happens. A wife or a husband will say, well, we're not going to have sex until we resolve this conflict. And then the conflict never gets resolved because you're now acting in selfishness and sin, which is hard to resolve conflict when you're being selfish and sinful. And so the conflict doesn't resolve, or their attitude doesn't change, or forgiveness isn't granted. And so the problem spins further and further and further and further and further out of control. And if you're using sex as a reward for if they get their act together and they don't get their act together, you never have sex, now you're in deep doo-doo. You're complicating the problem. You're spinning up the death spiral that your marriage is in. Do you get that? So here's the hack. Take the reward and gift of sex as making up after conflict and pull it to the front end of the conflict. So that when Sharon and I have conflict and we're like, well, yeah, but what? We go, hey, wait, let's go renew covenant. And we go partake in that gift God gave us. And afterwards, like, what were we fighting about? I can't remember. You're amazing. And 9 out of 10 problems get solved when we exercise the gift that God gave to renew covenant between a husband and a wife. Don't just put it on the back end of division, pull it forward and watch God use it to bring healing and wholeness. Hey everybody, hope you found that helpful. If you would like to watch the sermon that clip came from, you can go here, check it out. As well, if you'd like to watch more Bible teaching, you can go to my YouTube channel. And if you would like more free resources for your family, your marriage, and how to be a stronger man, you can go to strongmannation.com. Check it out.